There'll be an extra.
Vamos fazer esse evento novo.
That can't be right. Oh, but what if they're real after all? No, that can't be. But what if there's a chance?
Greetings, miss. Is there something that's bothering you?
Oh, no, it's nothing. I'm Della Roche, the representative of the Fontaine Fishing Association. How can I help you? Oh, so you're adventurers. Oh, finally. Someone has heard my prayers.
Paimon could tell you were really bothered by something. Don't worry, you've got 2 super experienced adventurers right here. We'll take care of anything and everything for—
Oh, you are exactly the helpers I need. See, the problem is that the fish around a fishing spot at Araneus have just all up and vanished recently. They disappeared too quickly for it to have been the work of human anglers. As the representative of the Fishing Association, I had planned to go and investigate the area right away. Right, but unfortunately, as the representative of the Fishing Association, there are a few other errands that I absolutely have to run. So
you'd like us to investigate the spot for you?
exactly, you're right on the Mora. So I thought I could delegate this work to you. Are you two some kind of prophets, knowing exactly what I was going to say like that? Or maybe like—
Yeah, we're just really experienced in this kind of thing, that's all.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. I'll get a good night's sleep knowing the two of you are on the case.
But don't we just need to investigate the missing fish? It really doesn't sound too difficult.
No, you mustn't let your guard down. As the representative of the Fishing Association, I have good reason to believe that the fish have gone missing due to an encounter with the water imps.
Sereias.
Yes, you're both Outlanders, right? Our local fairy tales often speak of a terrifying underwater creature called Thelxie.
Ah.
The story our parents would tell us was always the same. If we went to the water alone, then we'd be snatched away and eaten by a water imp called Thelxie.
A child-eating water imp? Did they tell you what it looked like?
My father would always describe it as a beautiful, multicolored snake woman, while my mother said it had a handsome face. It's really strange, though, because you'd also hear other people describe it as just a chubby penguin with a deceptive appearance. Even though the tales vary regarding its appearance, everyone agrees that it's really dangerous. It lives in an underwater cave surrounded by pallid bones and uses its sensitive nose to track down lonely children who've lost their way. And once it finds a child, it uses its alluring singing voice to lure them into the water before swallowing them all. Pretty terrifying, isn't it?
Sounds kinda scary. But isn't that pretty normal for a fairy tale? After all, those kinds of stories are usually made up—
But what if the fairy tale was inspired by a real-life tale? Just like how a water vein always has a source. Well, I wouldn't call it evidence per se, but I've heard some rumors lately. They say that someone recently saw a child walk into the water as if he was possessed by something. Doesn't that sound just like he was responding to the call of a water imp?
So you mean someone really got eaten by a water imp?
It's all hearsay, so it's hard to confirm. But still, they all say this happened on Irenaeus. That's no laughing matter if you ask me. Both the Opera House and the Fountain of Lucine were built there, and the sources of many water veins can be traced to the island as well. Combine that with the mysterious mist, the huge tree with expansive underground roots, and the rumor that the fish-heps on the island can understand human language. Is it really so shocking that an island so shrouded in mystery could harbor a terrifying water imp as well?
Why does Paimon feel like you're pulling our leg? You're just piling on the rumors now. Still, if someone's
Oh, marvelous. Then I'll just mark the stretch of water on your map. Don't forget that no matter what.
Maior história de pescador isso daí, hein? Meu Deus.
Is this the stretch of water Delaroche was talking about? It looks really peaceful. Huh? Look, there are some footprints over there. These look pretty fresh. Did the water imp get someone again? Let's look around and see if we can find anything else. Wait! Did you hear something just now? What is that? Don't come any closer!
Paimon? Traveler? I'm sorry. I forgot I was still wearing this.
Fremine!
Paimon, are you okay?
Paimon nearly mistook you for a water imp. Thank goodness it was just you wearing your...
Huh? A water imp? Thelxie, you say?
Huh? You know that name too? Or do you know someone else is trying to investigate the water imp?
No. I think our situations are probably unrelated. Sure, if that's in order. I know the name because of one of my employers. She noticed the clockwork penguins I brought to the workshop and contacted me through the shop's owner. Following her request, I've named the toy Thelxie.
Huh? But isn't it a little creepy to name a toy after a water imp? Wait, hold on! Fremine, you never take commissions from other people!
Yeah, but, she made a special request, but out of respect for her privacy, I can't really talk about it. It's alright though. She'll be coming over to check on my progress shortly, and I'll just tell her that you're two of my trustworthy companions. Hearing that, she might be willing to share some information.
Huh. Even though you seem a little cold and reserved sometimes, you're still really considerate. Our target isn't necessarily the water imp, though. We're primarily here to investigate the disappearance of the fish.
The fish? These past few weeks, I've been taking Thelxie for underwater testing every day. So, all that about the disappearing fish, well...
So that's all it was? That actually makes a lot of sense. Wait, so could that mean the child we heard about who walked into the water was...
Yes, I think that's quite likely as well.
Whew. So in the end, it was just Fremine. Paimon spent all this time imagining dang, what a water imp.
I'm sorry. It sounds like I've created a lot of trouble for everyone else as well. I'll try to finish this commission as soon as possible. Thanks for offering.
Hey, it's no trouble at all. Didn't you just call us your trustworthy companions?
But don't you need to report back to your commissioner?
Nope, that's not how it works. See, Paimon's got these commissioner types all figured out, even though we were just tasked with finding out why the fish had gone missing. If we tell them now that it was all just a misunderstanding, you can bet they'd just immediately hand us another commission to help them get the fish back. Exactly! So if we can help you finish up your work and get the fish back, that would save us an extra trip!
Is that what you'd like to do as well? Huh. All right, I'll trust your judgment. I've stored Thelxie in the tent. He can respond to some simple verbal commands. You can try calling his name and see if he'll come over.
Whoa, sounds pretty advanced. Let Paimon give it a try. Hey, Thelxie! Are you there? So that's Fremone's version of Thelxie. It's also penguin-shaped, just like Pear.
Yep. Had Thelxie lived in Penguin Town, he'd probably have become great friends with Pear. It's not really anywhere famous or important. Don't worry about it.
Hey, Thelxie. Nice to meet you. Do you know how to say...
I wanted to install a language output module, but due to as it stands, Thelxie can only output messages that were pre-written into its motherboard. I haven't given him the ability to convert.
No need to get so technical. So basically, you and us...
No, there's no need. I have two other things I'd like your help with. The first is to do some integration testing on Thelxie's motherboard.
That doesn't sound too hard.
The other shouldn't take too long either. You'll need to find Thelxie some colorful shells and coral, so I can craft a weapon for...
A weapon? Will Thelxie have to...
Thelxie will need to be able to charge forward with a weapon in hand. Like that brave prince of legend. It's...
What an imaginative employer! Naming Thelxie after a water imp, but wanting him to look like a prince?
Well, regardless of his role or species, Thelxie's purpose is the same.
Whoa, Thelxie just said something again! Could he understand what we were just talking about?
He can react to certain key words, but unfortunately, due to the lack of a translation module...
That's a pity. But anyway, the most important thing right now is for us to get to work. Maybe let's start by doing some tests.
Sounds good. The motherboard is on my workbench. Here we go. I have this testing manual, so feel free to want to give it a try? It's okay if you don't succeed immediately. I've got a lot of backup boards just in case. Okay, knowing you...
too popular can be such a hassle.
You're doing well.
We've taken on a lot of similar tasks before, you know.
Then let's move on to the underwater part. It's just... Oh, speaking of which, you're both already pretty used to Fontaine. Okay, that's good. Just let... It should be right over there. We'll be able to find something that'll help us with our search. This is it. We call this thing an echoing conch. It can detect special reflection waves in the water to help us with all kinds of underwater Did you notice any interesting places? The echoing conch should have detected some just now. Let's go check them out. Alright, these should be enough. Let's head back to camp. Thank you for staying out here with me all this time.
Ah, Fremine, you're back. I thought you might have been out diving.
I'm sorry, Madame d'Estray. I must have kept you waiting. I can...
There's no rush. I'm your employer, not your supervisor. And these two are...
They're two of my trustworthy companions. They're...
Yes, I see. I suppose it's only natural for someone responsible like...
It's really nice to meet you, Madame d'Estray. Are you Fremine's employer? Paimon is Paimon, and this is the Traveler.
Greetings, my new friends. Just call me Zuria. You are both so adorable. The sight of you reminds me of little fairies under a cottage roof.
Oh, do you really think so?
Of course. If my child had friends like you, then perhaps he wouldn't have become so obsessed with the tales of water.
Obsessed with the tales of...
Ah, so you don't know anything about my request yet? I would...
Well, Fremine told us that it was a private matter, so he didn't want to just share it willy-nilly.
I see. So Monsieur Fremine is even more discreet than I had thought. As you are assisting him, but it would be quite impolite of me to simply pile all of my troubles on you without your permission.
Sure, you can tell us anything. You've already said nice things about us, so we'll try our best to help you get through your troubles.
Ah, what a lovely little fairy. Then let me think of a way to put my situation into words. I'm sure you're already familiar with the tale of the water imps, right? Simply put, parents came up with a story, painting water imps as scary abductors in an effort to convince their children to stay away from the water.
Infatuated? With a water imp?
Yes. He told me that he thought the water imp might have just been misunderstood. In his mind, instead of singing to abduct children, the
Huh. So he wanted to become friends with the water imp so it wouldn't be lonely any longer?
Thank you, little Paimon. He indeed has always stood out from the crowd. He was actually diagnosed with loneliness and... It's a type of mental disorder. Those affected by it often feel extremely lonely and lose interest in many mundane activities. The syndrome is probably what made him so determined to...
Oh no. Is it a...
If you were to become afflicted with the disorder, Paimon, you would only be able to say less than a...
No! Paimon won't accept that! We would have to find a doctor to help cure Paimon. Paimon has a 2,000-word quota for daily conversations with the Traveler, and she won't settle for a single word less!
The family doctor has already begun to treat my son, but since the disorder is rare, there aren't many good regimens for treatment. He's also developed some new...
Huh? Uncontrollable what now?
O filho dela é autista, meu.
Uncontrollable delusions. To put it simply, he can no longer differentiate between fantasy and reality,
Ele vive no
and
mundo
spends
dele.
all his time...
Then what is he seeing in his fantasy world?
It's a dream that he often mentioned to me when he was younger. I've compiled what I could understand of his recent rambling. It goes a bit like this.
Amazing! Your son came up with all of this? He really crafted a lovely fairy...
But perhaps no beautiful dream can ever last long. You see, the story ended with a twist.
How could the story end like this? Is that kind of...
Well, it'd be more accurate to say that it was the syndrome that caused such terrible delusions to manifest. But in any case...
My poor child can no longer differentiate between imagination and reality. He's begun to see him...
Perhaps in his mind, the loneliness he felt...
What? So that's what you meant by uncontrollable delusion?
Alas, most of the time he acts as if he can no longer sense or interact with the real world at all. I've had several discussions with the doctor. He once wanted to make a picture book of his imaginary world. But since the disorder progressed too quickly, he never quite got past the first page of...
Ah! So Zuria's son also saw Thelxie as a penguin. Oh.
What we should do now is help him complete this picture book. However, we'll lead the story to a different... We'll need to chase away his loneliness and sorrow, and let him perceive a world full of hope again. That's what I mean by guiding...
But if we just need to finish the picture book, why does Fremine need to make a Thelxie as well?
because we need to treat the book's story seriously, as if it's a history of things that have really happened. We'll need to go on a journey like Thelxie and help him, but my child can no longer go on a journey of his own. This is why I commissioned Fremine here to craft a Thelxie, and then I'll paint the journey with...
Ah, like a stand-in for your son! Paimon's starting to get it now. Oh, you really put a lot...
There are some ruins on the seabed of the Salacia Plains. I've already asked Fremine to research them.
Oh, so we'll just need to act out a performance of, a brave journey through the kingdom of...
Sadly, no. We won't just be putting on a performance. It's just as Zuria said. We need to...
So we'll be playing it straight? Or, making it a fully immersive experience? Oh, neither of those really sound right. Well, either way, we'll still be able to help, right?
It's all right. There's no need to get that serious. It's not a big deal. I believe in my son. We can just see this as him wanting to stay... Keep your spirits up, everyone. If we were to look troubled, my son is sure to become anxious as well. We temporarily moved to a place on the hill over there, so my son will have a better spot to convalesce. It's not far from the water, and there's also a great view. Feel free to come find me if anything urgent...
Understood. There's also one last thing. Since these two friends were able to help...
That's great news. I must thank you all. With that in mind... All right, everyone. Let's meet again in another...
Zuria sure is a brave and optimistic lady. Fremine, do you think her plan will...
Let's discuss that over by the tent. There were a few...
Ih, tem coisa. O que é isso?
What is it, Fremine? What did you want to say?
If you don't mind me asking, this is the first time that you've met anyone with the syndrome, right? If things don't quite turn out as we wish, I hope you'll be able to...
Fremine, why do you bring this up all of a sudden? Didn't we just promise Zuria that we'll...
It's not that I'm not optimistic.
So that's why you looked like you knew exactly what she was talking about. Wait, Fremine, don't tell
No. Please don't misunderstand. I've never had it. I've just seen many cases of it at the House of the Hearth. Back when we lived under... They say there are many factors surrounding the development of this illness. I've heard everything from hereditary factors and one's state of mind, to environmental factors, and even ley line disorder effects. Some even say it could be caused by contamination from god remains. And from the cases I've seen, there weren't many positive outcomes.
What? It could get that serious? And here Paimon thought they just...
Yeah, that's just the nature of it. So if you'll find it difficult to cope with the worst-case scenario, I would prefer that you back out right now. I don't want you to help only to feel like you failed.
Don't worry, Fremine.
Really? Then in that case...
Yeah! But Paimon has a question. If this illness can really be as bad as you've described... After all, we'll just be using a toy as Thelxie and some ruins as the Kingdom of Water Imps. The whole adventure will only be turned into a picture book.
Well, I think it should be able to do something. To harbor a fantasy means that the child wants to save himself somehow. The only reason he's allowed his dream kingdom to fall is because he's lost control of his heart. But if we can help him regain control and escape from the darkness, we'll be able to change his world.
Oh, Paimon sees what you're saying now. Huh.
Well, maybe because I've also had many of my own dreams in the past. I even had my own fairy tale world, much like that boy's. So...
What Penguin Town? Why doesn't Paimon remember? Is that also a fairy tale world? Don't leave Paimon in the dark! Hey, why did you put that on?
It's just one of my personal quirks. Anyway, Penguin Town is a peaceful place with lots of penguin residents. They're all really good at making clockwork toys. And Pear is the town's triumphant hero, as well as the one who quietly protects the whole place.
Pear? But didn't you make Pear yourself?
Well, I often think that Pear only came to me because he realized how much I needed him. So it's not so much that I made Pear, as Pear chose me as his friend.
Fremine, are you sure you're not losing
No, I don't think so. I can still differentiate between fantasy and it might just be hidden, which is why it's difficult to see. Or it will only
specific times? Like when you put on your diving helmet?
Yeah.
Really? Paimon just said that because you put on your helmet.
Have you ever observed the surface world from underwater? It's as if you're viewing a whole different world from the outside. It's a very surreal feeling. I have a similar feeling when I put on my diving helmet. In those moments, it's possible to see...
Really? Like a miracle?
Well, if that's in order.
Hey, don't you still need time to work on Thelxie's weapon? We don't want to keep you from...
Right. I still have to collect some tools I'll need to craft the weapon. I've got to finish every... Thanks for all of your help. I'll be off for now.
Tá, primeira parte. Primeira parte do evento foi